Hi, I'm Subu bringing crafting to you, and today I'm going to show you how to make this lovely card, and I'm going to use Tasteful Touches flower set and Love You Always DSP. So I just think it's a beautiful card. This one was actually made with Forever and Always, and it's an old olive foil paper that's now in retirement, and I have dyed the ribbon. It's the Rococo Rose ribbon, but I have dyed it with my old olive Stampin' Right marker, and I've used my Stampin' Right marker to do all my stamping, as I don't have old olive ink. So that's the way of being able to use colours that you haven't got in ink pads if you've got the Stampin' Right marker. So there we go, that's what we're going to make, so I'll begin. So I'm going to do it in Rococo Rose. So I've got a standard half of A4 sheet. I like to do precise measurements for this particular card, so it is 5 7/8 by your standard width and scored at 4 1/8. Now what we need to do is we need to fold it in half, and then I'm going to give it a good burnish. So I'm just going to move my paper trimmer out of the way, and I'm going to give this a jolly good burnish on both sides, making it really flat to start with. I didn't do that with the other cards, so I'm going to see if this makes the difference. Okay, now I'm going to put my card in, and I'm going to, well actually I'm going to measure it instead. I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to measure from the end 2 1/2. So I'm going to, my ruler starts from 0 right on the end. So I'm going to measure that 2 1/2 and put a little mark at the top. And then at the side, I'm going to measure 3 1/4. Is that my measurements? No, sorry. That's the American one. So let me get rid of that. I want my one that I'm doing. So I want it, apologies for that, it's 2 1/2. Oh, I did do it 2 1/2, sorry, yeah, 2 1/2, and then it's going to be down by 3, sorry, that is right, 2 1/2 is right, and then I'm coming down by 3. So I'm just going to put a tiny mark. Then I'm actually going to put a faint pencil mark going from that 2 1/2 down to my 3. So I don't know whether you can see the faint pencil mark, just going to make it there. That's going to just make it so that it's easier to pop in your trimmer. Make sure that you've not got your scoring blade. Make sure you have got your scoring blade. So I'm going to make sure that my line is absolutely in the centre. So if I pop this down, so I don't know whether you can see, but I'm looking to make sure that that pencil mark is going to be exactly in the centre. So you're just going to have to bear with me while I make sure it is absolutely bang on where I want it to be. I'm out of your shot, sorry. So I'm going to make sure that that is absolutely in the centre as much as I possibly can. Hold it firm. Now press fairly hard with your scorer because it's got to go through 2 lots of cards. Okay, so I can see a good score line there, and I can see it has come through on the back. So I'm just going to pop my scoreboard out of the way, and then I'm just going to gently bend that towards me. And I'm going to take, not right up to the edge, I'm not going right down to there, but I'm going to fold it both ways. Okay, so there we go. And then that gives us a nice crease in there. Then we're going to pop this forward and allow it to naturally come into place. Now this is where we're going to go from the centre, and we're going to really burnish that out. I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to go from the outside. I'm then going to go inside and try and burnish that fold inside. So really try and get that burnished, and then I'm doing it the other way, really trying to get that as flat as I possibly can. So just give it another rub on that side, flat as I possibly can. Okay, so that's how your card is so far. Now it's possibility you could do this one as just an internal part of your card. So you could cut it 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch smaller and put it for an insert, but mine's going to be the outside. So also you could do it that way or that way, but I am doing it so it comes up like that. Okay, so now I've got 3 pieces of Very Vanilla. Now these measure 4 inches by 5 3/4. So we've got those, and it's going to go on the front and then 2 inside. So I'm going to measure across the top. I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to measure my 2 1/2 again. So I'm going to measure 2 1/2 and put my little mark, and then I measured 3 inches down, so I'm going to do that again, 3 inches down, and put a mark. I'm then going to do a faint line going across there, so faint line going across, and I'm going to do exactly the same, but this time I'm not going to be folding, I'm going to be cutting it. So I'm putting it exactly in my trimmer in the halfway point, holding it firm, and I'm going to cut that straight off. Now I'm just going to rub across that edge with my pencil because I only did it faint. I'm going to do that. Now that should be right for the front of my card, so that will sit there. Okay, so that's part 1. Right, move that out of the way. Going to do exactly the same again. So I'm going to measure in again 2 1/2 inches in. So putting a mark, and then 3 inches down and putting a mark. I'll get that right. 3 inches down, putting a mark. Then again, I'm going to do that across. So I'm getting my pencil, faint pencil mark down there. That goes back into my trimmer. Getting that angle, make sure that they're exactly in the middle as much as we can. Okay, hold it down firm, slice that off, and I'm just, if there's any pencil mark, just go over there like that. Okay, now that will be for that side for internal. So we've got one for external. So this time we can't do it the same way because we need it the opposite side now. So we need it for this side. So instead of measuring the 2 1/2 inches on this side, coming here, we're going to go this way. So I'm going to go 2 1/2 inches. So get it in position, and we're going to do 2 1/2 inches. There we go. And then we're going to go down the 3 inches on this side. There we go. And I'm going to do a faint line going across. And a faint line going across. There we go. And pop that into my paper trimmer to cut. So again, making sure that we get that as close as we can in the middle. It's a bit difficult when you're not over the top of it properly. So there we go. And just again, just in case there's any pencil mark left, just go over with your rubber, and then that's there so far. So that's what we've got so far. Now I'm going to do exactly the same with my foil paper. So I'm going to measure 2.5 inches in and put a mark, and 3 inches down, and then this is a bit more difficult to see, the pencil mark there. I can see it there now. So I'm going to put that down there. Right, now my foil, I'm just going to make sure that my foil is in the middle again. Okay, make sure that's in the middle, and cut that off, and then just have a look. I can't, just that corner, I can see a bit of pencil mark, but I seem to be all right on there. Just double check now whether that is okay. So that's as close as what I'm going to get it. Right, now for a bit of stamping. So make sure you've got your pieces right. I have now got a new stamping mat, so I'm able to stamp. Hi Valerie, hi Patricia, hope you're well. So I'm going to stamp in these corners. Now the stamp set that I am using is Tasteful Touches. And I haven't gone and put it away, have I? No, I haven't, sorry, it's here. So I just need my stamping. That's it. Oh, I've got the other one on it still. I'll just pop that on top of there. So just going to use my Tasteful Touches. So it's a beautiful flower, this. And I'm going to stamp in Rococo Rose. Now generally you don't need a, because I'm using the cling mounts, the rubber ones, you don't generally need a stamping mat, but I'm going to use it because I've got it. So I'm going to just pop that Katie Cornered in that corner. There we go. And then I'm going to do the other side. So I'm just going to get this one and just stamp this ink up and pop it in. Which way did I do it? Yep, that's right. So just pop that one in the corner there. So we've got those two in there like that. Okay, so I'll clean my rubber stamp in a minute, but that's what we need for now. Now, I cut off the corner, and these are not the right angles to be able to use for this one inside. So what I've done is I've cut a piece of, 2 pieces of foil, because we need it to go on right and we need it to go on left. And I've cut a piece of Very Vanilla. Now the pieces I've cut, it measures 2 3/8 by 3 7/8. And all I'm going to do, and we're going to see if this will work, is I'm going to cut down the centre. So I'm going to pop that in the centre of my trimmer, getting the edges absolutely in the centre, and then I'm going to cut down there. Now I'm just going to see whether this size will work. Now because it's plain, we can have it going 2 different ways. So it's that way, and we can put it the other way like that. Now, it's a little bit too big, so I'm going to take a tiny bit off the top, I think. Yeah, so I'm going to take a tiny bit off the top. Now, because I only want a tiny bit and I want to keep it straight, sometimes when you use your trimmer, it doesn't give you a good edge. So what I'm going to do is use my my guillotine one, because it will give me a nice sharp edge. And I'm just putting it over, so I've cut about that much off, about a 1/16, and I'm just going to check again now on there whether that's the right size now that I'm happy with. Let's see, that's looking good now. Yeah, so I've just taken that little bit off. I'm going to do the same again. I'm just going to pop it over by that little bit. Make sure it's straight. Let's have a look whether that is about right. Let's see. You probably can't see, sorry. So I'm just going to see whether that, yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah, I'll go for that. Now, if you get the burrs, like I've got the burrs there, if you just use your bone folder and just press on, that will get rid of those raised edges. Okay, that's because I've swapped it round to do that. Okay, so now I'm going to get my foil, and I've cut 2 pieces of foil. There we go. Move those out of the way. And I've just had my pieces of foil. What did I do with them? They were just here. I just didn't want to, what have I done with, oh, they're on my stamping mat. I put them on my stamping mat and then they're out of the way. So again, I'm just going to do exactly the same. These measure 2 1/4 by 2 3/4, and again I'm just going to, in fact I'm going to do them on my guillotine one. So I'm just going to make sure that I've got the points level with the blades, and then I'm going to chop down. Now this one, it will fit on one side, and I'm going to take a little bit more off because I want there to be a little bit of a gap. So I'm going to just pop a little bit more off that. So again, just about the same amount, putting it back in there, and I'll show you when I've done it. It was just that tiny bit, look. So that tiny bit, just going to go back over, make sure that it goes. Now I'm happy for it to go level with the bottom. As long as I've got that outside, I'm happy with that. So I've just got to make sure that we're getting the right angles now. So let's pop those out of the way. So we want it for the top of here. So I'm making my flower come down this time. So the angle is the flower's coming down. So I've got to make sure that when I put this side, the flowers are coming down. So I need to angle it that way. So I'm going to pop that in that way and make sure that I get my corners on there. I'm going to do my corners first, corner to corner, chop it, make sure that that is right. So can you see how I've got my flowers coming down on both of these 2 pieces of paper? and I'm just going to go back in and check with my check my foil to see about where I want it, and I'm going to take a fraction off again, just a fraction, so I don't get confused. I'm taking the other two pieces and I'm moving those out of my way so I don't get confused. And I'm going to take this and I'm just going to, I can turn it around now, and I'm just going to take it slightly over that edge, only slightly. Cut it off. So that is a narrow bit off. Let's see if I've taken enough off. And that looks like that. So I'm just going to look at the other one and see. So I'll pop that on there and pop that on there. And when I put it there, that's not too bad. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah, going to leave it at that. So I'll pop those trimmers out of the way and we can glue these in to start with. So making sure that we're popping them on the right sides. So the first one, going to glue all the way around the edge. Now, if you're wanting the American version, Donna G has made a card like this, more like the one that I've done here. So if you wanted to look at the American measurements for how she's done it, it's Donna G that I've seen. Lisa Crucio has done a similar one with a donkey and Dawn. I can't remember Dawn's surname, but Dawn, who's also American. So it seems to be the American card. I haven't seen any done in metric at all. So I did scour the internet on the YouTube to see whether anybody else has done one of these, but I haven't seen any with metric, imperial measurements in English for our card size. They're all American, and there's only 3 people that I've seen done it. So I'm going to pop my foil on first. So it's beautiful foil paper. This is really light foil paper. The card that I made, my prototype one that I've made, that is heavy card. It's not a fine card, it's a heavy foil, should I say. It is light card. So it's much heavier, whereas this is a really light foil paper, really nice to work with. So I'm going to pop that there. Okay, so I'm just showing you that this design can be done with lots of different flowers. So as I say, this is Tasteful Touches. The one that I've used was Forever, Always and Forever, I think it's called. There we go. So, and I've got a couple of alternatives to just show you before I start placing my flowers on top. I'm going to show you a few more that you could do with it. So as I say, that goes like that. Now, as you saw inside, these are Forever and Always, and you put it so your flower can fold either way. I just need to train mine a bit more because it's just going one way and not the other. So actually I think I'll leave it the way it was going because it must be unbalanced in my thing that I've done. So it folds better that way. Whoops. I need to round that a bit more actually. Okay. So these flowers are forever and always, and the love and the sentiment and the leaves come from that set. As I say, I'm doing it with Tasteful Touches, but I wanted to show you that there is another stamp set called Positive Thoughts, and it would work with the Positive Thoughts flower. So you could put, this flower could go in the centre, and you could put 3 flowers like that going there, or you could cut some of this, or you could use the butterflies. So I might try it with the flower and the butterflies either side. So I'm going to make more of these, so you might see, I'll put them up when I make them to show you the different designs. So it's any flower of that similar size that you can use. Now I'm going to do the front before I carry on with the inside. So I'm just going to burnish again, folding it down a bit more, making sure it goes flatter. This is what I didn't do with my other one. So the Designer Series paper, the foil one, is only one side, which is quite nice, because I don't know about you, sometimes when there's foil on one side and another pattern on the other, and I really like the pattern on the other, I hate covering up the foil, whereas this, you don't have to choose, it's only on one side. So there we go. Let's give it a equal border as possible. Right, now I'm going to use the Cocoa Rose ribbon on this. So I'm going to put a bit of tear and tape along this side. So I want to do this before I put this down on the card front. So I'm going to just put it as close as I can to that edge. I'm not going to go all the way, but I'm going to go like 3/4 of the way across, and then over the top I'm just going to place it going across the top there, and then down the side here. There we go. There we go. So just going to burnish those on. There we go. So I'm going to take the top piece off first, and I'm going to lay my Rococo Rose. I think that's just going to offshoot it on either side. So I'm going to make sure that it's given about the same border as the rest of the card. So I'm looking at the same border. Then I'm just going to cut this using my ribbon scissors. Makes it so much easier. In fact, I'll cut a bit off. And then I'm just going to take that off, and I'm going to bend that over at the top, and that will then press down onto that and grab. And then we're going to do the same on this one. So I'm going to face me and then bend that round like that, so that it's giving that nice edge there. And then we'll glue this down. So I'm putting some on my ribbon as well. So the colour of the DSP is, there's Rococo Rose, and they're all different patterns. There's Blushing Bride and Sahara Sand. Just give it an equal increment all the way round. There we go. There we go. And then we're just going to arrange, well actually I'm going to do inside. Now I've done that bit, I'll just do the inside first. So we want our flower to be in the centre there. And how we're going to achieve this is just get a circle punch, and you're just going to, it's a 1-inch punch, and you just want 2 pieces of card. So I'm just looking if I've got some, where are my triangles? There we go. There's a triangle, that'll do me. And just going to punch one out. And we're going to fold these in half. So you need to fold these in half, like that. And then I'm going to really burnish them down flat. So I'm going to burnish them on either side and do that on the other as well. So thank you, Valerie. Now what we need to do is pop these either side. So I'm going to see, I want it about there, so that's going to be either side of that. So just get rid of my flower a minute from underneath, and it's going to be about there. So I need to glue half underneath. I'm going to glue those on there. And then the same on the, oops, picked up a bit of that. I'm going to do that on the other side. So they need to adhere. Now I'm just going to let those dry a few minutes. So, not sure there. Just gonna, oops, they're sliding on the foil. So I think I'm just going to let them dry a little minute, put my glue in there. And if you use your Wink of Stella and you put it over your flowers, it will make it sparkle, but it will drag the colour out slightly as well. So I'm just going to, while we're waiting for that to do, I'm just going to do that round to make it nice and sparkly. So that's going to give it a really lovely sparkled effect, and I may as well do these while we're waiting for that to dry. So I'm just rubbing over the centre just round to give it that nice sparkle, and here we go as well. Okay, so that'll give it nice sparkle, and it doesn't seem to have fetched any colour off actually. Now what I've done is I've fussy cut 2 of the big flowers. I've stamped and cut 4 of these sprigs, and I've done the greeting, or just saying hello. And if you spend £90, you can get a set called Berry Blessings, for free, which is a stamp set that you get and designer series paper. And you will have seen me talk about this. And I've just used these done the 2-step stamping in the Rococo Rose on the Very Vanilla. So I've just done that. Okay, and I haven't used my Wink of Stella on here. I could use that later. It's just I ran out of time and wanted to get on and filming. Excuse me, I'm just going to have a drink. So while we just making sure that glue is drying, I'll just show you these papers. So that is the Rococo Rose. This one underneath is the Sahara Sand, which is really, really beautiful. And then there's Blushing Bride. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. Really, really gorgeous. I've also got, you can get the matching foils in them as well that I've got. That's better. The other flower that I thought that you could use for this as well, so not only the positive thoughts, I thought you could use the daisy one as well. So the daisy one, obviously I'd need to do a couple of the daisies. I've just put it to see whether it would work, and you could do it with the daisies as well. Obviously, to make them fuller, you cut more out, but I just wanted to quickly see whether the daisy punch would work as well. So that's another flower that you could use for this. So it's very versatile in what you could use. And of course, the donkey, you could use the Darling Donkey on this as well. So I'm now going to put glue on these two here. So on my tabs. And then pop this so that it doesn't hit the score lines. So you want to be careful it doesn't hit the score lines. Just press that down and that will move with your card, and then you just need to move it one way or the other. Well, I'm just going to leave mine to set before I decide which way it's going to go, but as long as it's moving about. So I'm going to pop these, and it doesn't matter if they pop over the top. So I'm going to put these at either side, and I think I'm going to put them, I can even have the stalks showing, or I'm going to cut those off. I might just cut the stalks off. So I'm going to cut my stalks off so that I can have these coming down without the stalks showing. And I'm going to pop those on dimensionals. So I've got my dimensionals here, and I'm just going to pop a couple on so that I can put those where I want them. So I'm just going to guide them in before, just make sure they're not on that line, and then pop another couple on this side. So there we go. So put that coming out the other side there. So this is a way how to use this card with it. I'm not going to risk it yet and close it. It's still not quite glued yet. So we'll carry on with the front of the card. Or shall I risk? It doesn't seem to want to. Oh, I see. I've not put it. I thought I'd got to put it back, and I haven't. I've got to put it further forward. Right, I understand now what I'm doing wrong on that. I need to stick them a bit further forward than what I've done. So I was thinking you've got to stick them back. So I'm just going to move them by doing that so that it sticks more on there. I'll stick it back on. Is it this one? Yeah, it's that one that I've stuck. So as long as it's not going down there, that's better now. That one does it better, and I'll have to do that one as well a bit further forward. So I'll move that one out of the way as well. Take that one in, and now do it again to stick them on the top. That one, that one. That's better. Just need to move it so it's sticking one way. That's it, and we'll stick that down. Okay, so to push that down. Right, so I'm going to look for positioning now, how I want these to go. So I think I'm going to have some more of my sprigs. So I'm still going to use my sprigs, and then I might put some more of my leaves coming out. So it's always better to do a dry run to see your positioning of things. I think I quite like that. So I'm going to pop them on dimensionals. So I'm just going to pick up my flower, and I'm going to stick a dimensional in the centre. Because I'm needing to stick the others around, I want to pop that there first. And I'm going to have a dimensional on here. See where that positioning, pop that underneath, like that. And then put another dimensional on here. There we go, and then I'm going to have these sprigs. Now I'm going to take these off again, and I'm going to put those with glue. So I'm going to glue these down so it's giving it dimensions. These will be flatter, so I'll tuck them underneath, and then I'll cut this off as well, and then I'll glue that down as well. So I'm only putting glue on the bottom half so that can go at the top like that, and it can go underneath. Now I want to be careful because although I can come over the edge up here, I don't want to come too far over off the card here. Now just let me put my glue stick back on. Now I've cut out the saying, and I'm just going to back this. So I'm going to put it on my Cocoa Rose because I want to give it a little bit of cover on here. So do this and pop this in the corner, but a little bit away. So I'm going to fussy cut so that this has got a little bit more backing on it. So use my scissors. So I'm going to come in and try and leave a border all the way round. And round it round here. Round it round. And hopefully like that. So that's just giving it a little bit of the Rococo Rose round it. And I'm going to pop this on a couple of dimensionals as well, so that it gives it a little bit of lift from being flat on the card. And I'm going to pop that not on until I put my bow on. So I'm going to do my bow. Thread it through there. And see if I can make a decent job. That's not... Why is it when you're doing it off camera it works? I'm going to try that this way this time and bring that way. Have I done it this time? Yeah, I think I have. So I'm going to tighten that up a bit. Tighten that. There we go. That'll be fine. And Okay, so I want my bow to go around there somewhere, and I'm using glue dots to put on the back of my glue. These are large glue dots because I've got quite a large ribbon, so going to put that, want it to go there. Now I can pop my, just to say hello, and I want that quite down. Perhaps I'll tuck the ribbon underneath there like that. Okay, so that is my card finished. So I don't know whether you're able to see the sparkle on the Wink of Stella. Does make it rather pretty, and opening it upside, you've got that lovely sparkle going off there inside, and then your flower sticks more in the centre. I just need to see, that's it caught underneath that, so that makes it pop them. So let's pop it back again. There we go. So you open it up and your flower pops, and then you could write in here, or you could write on the back of your card. I hope you like that. So that's two different flower sets that you can make it with. I've done, as I say, the Old Olive with the Love You Always set. And then I've done the Tasteful Touches set. So two different flower sets that you can make it with. The nice thing about the Forever and Always is you get a die that cuts out the background and cuts out the love, so that's a nice finish. It also cuts out Always, and there's the other sentiments to go with that, and the dies cut out the flowers, the leaves and the little bud there as well, so they're rather nice. But I hope you liked those. As I say, that's two different, showing you from two different stamp sets. Thank you, Valerie. I just thought it was a really lovely card. Could be for a very special occasion, actually. You could do them for Valentine's or wedding anniversaries or wedding cards. They would be suitable for any of those because it's a really lovely card. Obviously this was my prototype, so you don't always get things right with your prototype. Like my border's not quite, I'm not happy with that, whereas the one that I've done for you today, I've got the border right, and I'm happy with that, and it shows there. So thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, stay well, and I will be back with more crafting goodies tomorrow. Thank you very much. Bye.